Hey everyone. In this video we're going to take a look at factoring, difference of squares, and perfect square trinomials. Now both of these, your first and last term in your polynomial, are going to be perfect squares. So in the first case we have the difference of squares, which is exactly what it says. You're subtracting two square roots. So we see in this example we have 9x squared and 16. Both have square roots. And in our answer, we're going to list those square roots. The square root of 9x squared would be 3x. So we see there's a 3x in each of our binomials. And then we have a 16, which is, the square root of 16 is 4. So we have a 4 in each of our binomials. Now, in the answer, we alternate our signs plus and minus, because if we were to FOIL this, our middle term would cancel out, which is why in our initial, there is no middle term. All right, let's take a look at a couple examples of these. Okay, so the first one, I have 100x squared minus 36. Again, we see we would take the square root of both of these. The square root of 100x would be 10x. Okay, so two parentheses, we're going to have a 10x and a 10x. And then the square root of 36 is 6 and 6. And then we're going to alternate our signs in our answer, and there you have it. All right, in the second one, we have 2x squared minus 98. Now this one, not perfect squares quite yet, but what I can do is I can take out the GCF of 2 and divide each of them by 2, so I get x squared minus 49. And now we do the same thing, 2 on the outside. The square root of x squared would be x. The square root of 49 is 7, so it would be x plus 7 and x minus 7. Okay, so that is difference of squares. Now let's take a look at the perfect square trinomials. Okay, so perfect square trinomial, you notice here that your first and last term are both perfect squares, 9 and 25. And now your middle term we see here is going to be 2ab, which is going to kind of be used to check our answer to make sure it works. Okay, so our perfect square here, square root of 25 is 5x. The square root of 9 is 3, so that's where I'm getting both of our terms in our answer from. All right, and now the middle sign comes from the middle sign or the middle term in our trinomial. So it's a plus here. That means it's going to be a plus in our answer. And the 2ab, just to check and make sure that matches up, it would be 2 times a times b. Our a and our b are coming from our answer. Our a would be 5. Our b would be 3. And sure enough, 2 times 5, 10. Times 3, that gives me 30. And that matches up. Let's take a look at a couple more of these. All right, so in this one, we have 16x squared minus 24x plus 9. Again, you notice our first and last terms are perfect squares, 16 and 9. Okay, so we're going to have 16x squared, which is going to give us a 4x. Middle sign is a minus, so it's going to be minus. And then the square root of 9 is 3. And that's going to be squared. Again, you can see we did the same thing here in our first example. And now we can go ahead and just check and make sure our 2ab works out. 2, our a and our b. Our a is 4. Our b is negative 3. And when we work that out, sure enough, we do get our negative 24. 2 times 4, 8, times negative 3 is negative 24, which lines up perfectly with our middle term. So this would be our final answer here. All right, again, these special cases only work when your first and last terms are perfect squares. Otherwise, you would need to do our AC method or our standard factoring that we've been working on for the last couple of weeks and in our prior videos.